Oh, hi guys, I'm back again, and I just want to tell you that today we're going to be making Thai green curry with roti, and just so that we've got two different techniques that we are going to learn again today. Now, I've already shown you how to do the velveting of the chicken, and I've got all my vegetables and everything else ready, but the very first thing that we have to do is we have to make the dough, because the dough needs to rest for about 10 minutes or 15 minutes or so before we actually use it and make our roti. So I'm going to start with that. So in my bowl, now guys, remember I've got a big family, so I've got double the recipe to you guys. Traditionally, they use whole wheat flour for roti. I like white roti, so I use white plain flour. Your recipe, just to be on the safe side, has got self-raising flour, but you can use any flour, whole wheat, plain flour, or self-raising flour, and they will all work. I have made roti with all of those before. So I've got that in here, and I've also got some salt mixed in with my flour. One of the important things is, again guys, this is not in your recipe, because it's very difficult for us to boil water in class because we have so few kettles. But as I'm at home and you guys are now at home, it's actually going to be easier. They will work with cold water, guys, or the hottest water from the tap, which is what I do at school. But boiling water is a really good thing because the boiling water makes steam, which is important when we're actually making the roti. For mixing it. So I make a well in the center, and I've got double the amount of mixture that you have. So I've got 140 mils here, and I think I'm going to need all of it. Remember, we always go a little bit less at first, and we want to just see it's quite a soft dough, this guys, so you don't have to worry too much. Be careful when you stick your hands in it. Just make sure that you are not going to burn yourself. It's not that hot once it's mixed with the flour. I'm just actually going to add a little bit more water. And guys, always feel your dough just so that you know how much water you still need. So I'm going to put in a little bit more. Now guys, remember I told you that different kinds of flour, different flours bought from different shops, they will all require different amounts of water. It's just the nature of the beast, guys. Every producer makes their flour a little bit differently. So please make sure that you add your water gradually. I'm going to put in probably about another teaspoon down the side. And just work that in. But I think I can start using my hands now. So I'm going to clean that off. And then I'll be back to show you. Right, so what I've got now, guys, is, remember, I've said this to you before if you've been in my class before. If the dough sticks to your hands, just pretend you're washing your hands and rub together, and I promise the majority of the dough will actually come off your hands and leave your hands relatively clear. It is something that you do need to do if your dough is sticking to your hands, because your dough will constantly stick to your hands if you don't do that. Now I've got a little bit of bowl of water down next to me, not boiling water, just some water, and I've got my dough in the bowl. The rest of the water is just in case I feel like I need to incorporate some more water into my dough. We are going to knead, but we are going to knead with our fingertips. And you're going to knead for about 5 minutes. I'm actually going to stop this and I'll come back to you to show you what your dough should look like. Don't worry if it sticks, just keep kneading. I promise it will get smooth. Alright guys, I've actually taken mine out of the bowl just because I find it easier. So I've taken it out, and I did actually add 1 tablespoon of flour to mine because it was a little bit too sticky. But you can see just a tablespoon of flour made that a lovely soft dough, but it's not sticking to anything anymore. And I've been kneading that for about 5 minutes, and it's formed a nice smooth dough. So what I want to do now is that needs to rest for a while. So I've got my bowl back again, and I'm just going to pop it in the bottom. I'm then going to cover it so that it doesn't dry out, because you do not want a skin forming on the top. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to carry on and start showing you how to do the Thai green curry. Right guys, so the first thing that I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you how to prepare a chili. When we are making chilies or using chilies, please be very careful. Please don't touch your face, especially your eyes or around your nose once you've started the chili. If you're really sensitive to chilies, then please use gloves when you are preparing them. And it's also, this chili is not a very hot chili, but if you're using one of the very hot ones like ghost chilies or Scotch bonnets, please, please, please use gloves, because the oils in the chili penetrate into your skin, and even if you wash your hands 10 times afterwards, you will still have the oils on your skin, and although it won't harm you, it will hurt if you touch your eyes. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to slice the chili in half. Now, there's a misconception where the heat from chili comes from. The heat from the chili actually comes mainly from this piece that's here in the middle. It contains a lot of the oils, the hot oils, and then to some extent a little bit from the seeds, and then some heat comes from the chili itself. So if you want a very mild curry, you need to remove all the seeds and this little white pith in the middle. If you want a hotter curry, then leave that in and the curry will be substantially hotter. I don't like the pips in my curries, so I never use them. It's just the texture that I don't like, and I'm making this for my family, and my kids don't like it very spicy, so I actually keep some of the chili separate that I don't cook, that I sprinkle over the top for my husband and I, just so that we can have some of that heat. Now, the easiest way to remove this is to actually use a teaspoon, and you just pop the teaspoon into the top and scoop out the seeds and just scrape down, and that is it. You've got your little chili all prepared. Now please remember, guys, I always leave this on because that's going to protect your fingers. So I'm going to go ahead and do both of those, and then I'll come back and show you the rest. Right, so I've done that now. Now, I do not like huge chunks of chili in my food, so I actually am going to just slice down from the top, exactly like we would do with an onion, guys. So I chop down so that I've got some smaller pieces, and then once I've done that, I then just go, remember, claw hold, and I'm just going to slide my knife. And remember, guys, as long as your fingers are behind your knife, you can't slice them. Please make sure that you're holding your knife correctly. And remember, that's your little finger hold, so you just keep going until you get to the end. And there we have it, some nicely finely chopped chili. Right, guys, so now I can show you what I've got ready. I've got my velveted chicken here, and that's been velveting or marinating for about 20 minutes now. I have literally just sliced some of my vegetables, and I've sliced them on an angle. Rough chop, guys, it doesn't have to be fine. I've got some spring onions here, also just sliced at an angle. I love peas, snap peas, in my Thai green curry, so that's what I've got, but you can choose a different variety of vegetables. I have my chilies, I have my curry paste, and I have some salt and pepper and some oil. Now, the other thing I wanted to point out to you was the coconut milk. Now, coconut milk is a saturated fat, even though it's a vegetable fat. But what can happen sometimes is you can have a solid piece of coconut fat on the top here. Now, there's two different ways. You must use it all. You must use the liquid as well as the solid fat on the top. But there is nothing wrong with either. You have to use it all. If you want your curry to be a very traditional Thai curry, a traditional Thai curry is very thin, and it's not like an Indian curry that is a thick curry. If you like a thicker curry, then just simply use less of the coconut milk so that you don't have that extreme runny curry texture to your curry at the end. Alright, guys, now I've got my pan on the heat with a tablespoon of oil. You want this to be quite hot, guys, because you want the meat to cook very quickly. And I'm now going to take the chicken, and I'm just going to pop all the chicken. It must sizzle. into my frying pan. The egg will stick, guys, but don't worry, it will come loose again in a little bit. Right, and I'm going to fry that for about 5 minutes until my chicken is cooked, and I'll come back and show you what that looks like. Right guys, so that's what your chicken looks like when it's cooked all the way through. Please make sure that all your chicken is cooked all the way through. And if you're uncertain, take one of the fatter pieces and sort of chop it in half and make sure that the colour is uniform throughout. I'm going to take that out now and I'm going to put it in a bowl that I've got on the side, and then I'm going to do the vegetables. Right, so I'm going to start with the onions. Pop those in. Followed by the corn, and I'm going to saute those just for a few minutes. It's probably going to be about 2 minutes, guys. Right, now I'm going to add my curry paste, and I'm going to mix that in. And then I'm going to follow with all my coconut milk, and that will immediately take the temperature in your pan down. Make sure you get all that goodness from the chicken, from browning the chicken and the egg, because that will actually add flavour. I'm going to stir this for a while just to make sure that I break up all the green Thai curry, the paste, and then I'll come back and show you what that looks like. Right, now I'm going to add some of my chilli into that. I'm going to leave some for the top, and I'm just going to taste my curry. Always taste your curry, guys, but please make sure that you use a spoon, that you don't put the same spoon back in again. And I'm just going to do that to check the seasoning and that I'm happy with it. And then once I've done that, I'm going to add in my noodles. Now guys, we use noodles because and the roti, because that's what we like. I'm going to turn that heat down so that it just simmers for a few minutes. But you don't have to do that. You can make the curry just like this. You can then add in your petit pois or your snap peas, and then you can add the chicken back in again and then serve them when your rotis are ready. Or you can do it as I'm going to do it and add some chili, some noodles into that. Now I use these straight to wok noodles just because they're really quick and easy, but you can also use the dried noodles, make them beforehand and then pop them in, and then all you simply have to do is just make sure that they break up as you get them into your curry. As soon as they hit the heat, they do start to get softer. Let's break them up from the sides. There you go. Right, and we've got our noodles all into our curry. Now I do not like my snap peas to be cooked a lot, so I add those at the last possible second. I'm going to add the chicken back in again now just to heat that through. All the juices, guys. And then I'm going to leave that on the side just for a few minutes, and I'm going to add the mange tout just in a little bit, just so that those heat all the way through as well. Right guys, while my curry's finishing off, I'm going to finish off my chapatis, chapatis, my roti. And the way I do that is I'm just roughly going to divide mine. Remember, I've got a lot more dough than you guys, so you are not going to make as many. You're going to make probably about 3 or 4 guys. So that's a rough division. And I'm just going to cut them so that they're roughly equal. They're about 40 grams each, guys. So that gives you a rough division. You're going to take each one of those now and you're going to roll it into a smooth ball. So I like to take it and squeeze it at the bottom and then roll it so that you've got a nice smooth ball. And then I'm going to show you what we're going to do with those. So I'm going to keep doing that until I've got all of mine prepared. Right guys, so I've got a bit ahead and done all my chapatis, or a lot of my chapatis so far. So I had rolled them all into little balls, and now what I'm doing is I've just got a plate of flour and I'm flattening them with their flour on the outside, and just get rid of a little bit of the excess. Then I have got a tiny little rolling pin here, which is actually from when my sons were babies. And they had a little cookery set, but I've kept it because it's actually really great for doing small things like this. The proper one is slightly bigger than this. It's about that size and a bit fatter, but I find this one works just as well. Now there is a little bit of a technique, and I'm still learning, guys, and I'm still trying to perfect my technique. But what I'm doing is I'm actually just doing a circular, or sort of a quarter circular motion, and I'm putting more pressure on the outside to get the outside of the chapati thinner than the inside, and that enables it to pop up. Sorry guys, I'm also making mine at the same time, so I'm just going to flip that one over and I'm going to show you how to cook them in a minute. And I'm literally going to go round and keep going round in a quarter, and I do it on both sides. Now when you watch the ladies who make chapatis all the time, they do this without any concentration whatsoever. It doesn't even look like they're trying, but they actually move their wrists so that the action is completely different. So there we go, that I've rolled all of mine out now, and I've started making mine as well, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. Right guys, so what I've got here is I've got a griddle pan. Well, I've got a flat surface. A cast iron one distributes heat really well, but you can just use a normal frying pan. That's absolutely fine. I have oiled it a little just to stop it from sticking, but you don't need a lot of oil. Please don't put in a lot of oil, otherwise you're going to fry these and they're going to crisp up instead of actually just cooking. I have a plate next to me with a tea towel, but you can use paper. Right, and I'm just putting them in between the layers to keep them warm. And then also what I'm doing is I have a little bit of butter next to me, and as they come off I am literally just taking some butter and brushing each one with a little layer of butter, and then covering them up so that they keep warm, so that they're ready at the same time as the curry. Now it is everybody wants to move these while they're cooking, and guys, please remember, I'm not expert at these. I'm still trying to make my I'm still trying to up my skills as well. So you want to put them on, don't move them, and for about a minute maybe, and you'll see that once you flip them over you get these little brown spots, which is exactly what you want to happen. So don't worry, it's not burning. Obviously if it's going black, yes it is, but you want those brown spots. And then you'll see you starting to get little air bubbles in here, and you gently want to just push down on those air bubbles. Sometimes scraping it from side to side helps as well. Can you see the bubbles here? And you want to gently sort of push them from the outside to the inside, and those air bubbles are going to make a sort of layer. It's going to separate out on the inside. The steam is going to help it separate out, and that is going to form like almost little pockets or 2 layers in your chapati. Now when you get really experienced at these, they actually puff up like a puffer fish and they get really high. I'm not that good, but I am getting better at them all the time. And I'm just going to flip it over and just do the same on the other side. And then I'm going to pop that over. And again, exactly the same, guys. Just brush off any excess. And I'm going to pop that back on again. And I'm going to repeat that until all my roti are made. I just wanted to show you this one, guys. Look how lovely that one's puffed up. It's the last one that I've made, and it's actually puffed up exactly like it should. So it's puffed up right across, and the whole thing is open from one side to the other, which is fantastic. It's the first time that I've ever achieved the whole thing puffing over. So can you see that big puff of fish? And then turn it over. I am so chuffed with that, guys. So I'd love to know if you achieve the same thing. Please let me know. Try and take a photograph if you do get it to puff up like this. I cannot tell you how chuffed I am with the fact that it's puffed. The whole thing is puffed up. Right, guys, so there we have it. It's Thai green curry with roti, homemade roti. And I've served it with just a little bit of lemon that you squeeze over the top just before you eat your curry. Enjoy, guys, and I'll see you soon.